few minutes here. How's everyone's trading been this week? Been a messy one in the markets. All this war news and stuff. Always annoying. Always right before all-time highs too. Any break before all-time high is just always so messy. Takes out all these over-leveraged people at the top one way or another. But I'm not gonna lie, like the way the market's holding from the news yesterday, like I'm actually impressed. Things look pretty good. Looked pretty grim last night. Yeah, you probably cashed in big then if you caught that short on ETH. I'll share my screen in just a sec here. So we're going to go over just kind of, we'll go over briefly like what happened during the week just on Bitcoin. But then I did a poll inside of General asking you guys what you wanted me to go over. And you guys want me to deep dive the RSI bots. So we're going to go over that. We'll go over in depth, how to use them the most effectively. And then I'll give you guys a bunch of examples that I have pulled up and go over any questions you guys have and stuff. I'd say the RSI divergence bots are probably like, it's either OBOS or RSI divergence bots is like my favorite bot, but like they're probably the most actionable bot. It straight up is just going to tell you when there's a confirmed divergence, either bullish or bearish. And so like it's the type of alert where like, if you work a full-time job or whatever, you could open up the charts at any point and just go check out these alerts, do some general TA. If Bitcoin is at support or resistance, you could look to act on those. But it really just gives you potential trades just handed to you every 30, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour, depending on if you swing or scalp. Give another minute here and then I'll share screens. I'm going to share my screen. You guys let me know if you can see it. Sharing now. So just let me know if you can hear me all good and if you can see my screen, and then we'll dive in. Beauty. All right, and I'll run through just like, weekly recap. We're going to do that quick, and then we'll dive into the RSI stuff, because that'll be the meat of today, just so that, we can get to the giveaway in like 40, 45 minutes here. So save all the questions for RSI stuff at the end. I'll check into the chats too. You can ask as we're going, and, let's get to it. So let's take a look at Bitcoin, just a quick overview on Bitcoin and what happened this week. So obviously, this drop was largely caused by all of the war stuff going on in the Middle East. It's always annoying. Bad news always comes in near resistance. Good news always starts coming in near support. But like, we failed to flip the previous all-time high of like 110K, as well as this H4 resistance. We tried 3 times and just we couldn't get the strength to flip it. You can see here, when we first broke all-time high, we then traded back below and we failed to flip it. And that's where we got that first initial sell-off. And then from there, we've pumped back up into that same level. And once again, failed to flip it. So this becomes a very pivotal level in the market where, if we do flip this, we start closing some 4-hour above, we're going to push towards all-time high and probably much higher into like 115, 120K, I would assume. But it gives you a very pivotal level for now, right? Like, that this is a massive resistance and kind of the last resistance where bears are looking to really hold. So, if we trade back up to there, it's a really good level for you to watch. And it's just even previous all-time high, you can use that. But, when we do flip that, I think that's when you can go pretty risk on. I think a lot of things are going to start to trend in the market, and we should get ideally a much more parabolic move higher than what we got at like that 2% move up when we broke that all-time high the first time. So, but, we failed to flip it. We started trending down lower, and then, we got the war news last night, and that's why, market has dumped out a ton. Bitcoin dominance in times where we get this war news also trends up because people are obviously on a flight to safety in terms of what they're invested in. So like altcoins just get absolutely sold off because Bitcoin dominance goes up. And that happens next to every single time. So when this leg down was happening on Bitcoin dominance was going up and alts were just getting absolutely slaughtered. Like Bitcoin in reality from last night, it only went down. 5% is quite a bit for Bitcoin for sure. Don't get me wrong. But, some alts are going like 10, 15, 20, 25, just getting absolutely sold off. So, but yeah, briefly, that's just kind of what happened. The alerts we're going to look at here, if you see, it says 30-minute bearish, 4-hour bearish. So these ones here, we're going to take a look at, and all of these alerts came right in here. So this is also what I want to go over is that, like, you're going to get bearish and bullish divergence alerts throughout the entire day. But if you can map out the specific areas in terms of support and resistance on Bitcoin or like indexes total and stuff, when you get the divergences across a ton of altcoins and especially Bitcoin and ETH into these levels, that's when you want to act, right? Because you might be getting some divergences in the middle of nowhere where Bitcoin's kind of just either ranging or there's no actionable support resistance, and they're just not going to perform as well. Doesn't mean they won't perform, but like I'll show you guys the ones that I'm looking at here that we have highlighted. So all the divergences happened right here on this previous last rejection. So just for context. And these all came from the same alert, actually. So these 30 minutes were all on the same alert, and these 4 hours were on the same alert. And these are just a few examples out of like the 20 divergences that were called, right? So, that were alerted. And so I'd say the first step to using the RSI divergence bots effectively is just making sure that you take action when Bitcoin and ETH or your indexes are at support resistance. Like that's going to give you the highest hit rate. That means that the majority of the market is at resistance, and so when these bearish divergences in this case are firing off, you have a high probability of momentum actually being lost as it comes into resistance. And so we'll find the alert here. Yeah, I can show the RSI settings after as well. Let me go here. All right, so we're going to take a look. We're going to look at the RSI 30-minute bot. For anyone who doesn't have gold access or is new or just watching this off Twitter, we have RSI divergence bots. So I'll just give you a quick look at what these are. These bots are going to give you, like I said, alerts every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily of when a divergence, either bearish or bullish, is confirmed. So you can see here, every 15 minutes, you're going to get these, and it's going to show you the coins separated by high caps, mid caps, low caps. So you can play like, whatever batch of coins you like, and it's going to tell you which ones have divergences. So we're going to be looking at the divergence here. Let me find the one that fired off. Yeah, so it was this one here. This was the alert, and right, like this is just one alert that we're going to look at, and this is just 3 coins off this. There's, I don't know, upwards of 20 to 30 coins, and we're going to take a look at Doge, SHIB, and Floki. So just 3 from this one alert. You could have played any one of these coins as the market overall came into resistance, and you got all these divergences. So let's take a look at Doge, and this was the divergence here. So again, this divergence came in at the exact same time that Bitcoin was testing that all-time high and failing to flip it, right? So it gives you that context of like the market is overall at a really good level. Now you're looking at altcoins and you have direct triggers from the Woodsbot alerts. So this was the divergence here. Your price made a higher high, and your divergence was here in the RSI where it made a lower high, right? So even though your price is making a higher high, the RSI is making a lower high, showing you that there is a loss of momentum. And just simply, you know, I'll show you different kind of outside factors, just general TA factors, and it all depends on how you trade. If you use supply demand, if you use support resistance, if you use Monday range, if you use key sweeps of liquidity, you know, whatever you use, you compare with these alerts to make for really easy trades. So what we have here was like the H4 supply. You can see we traded up into it. We then created the div and it was confirmed. All you had to do at that point was open up the chart. And I mean, in reality, like, you know, you probably had 2 hours within this 4 candles here to, you know, act on this trade. Simply stops above the highs here, you know, very easy validation because we've swept this. If you were to flip this after creating the divergence, then we're going to go higher. So it gives you really easy invalidation. Same thing with SHIB here, but, you know, a few different confluences that you could have just taken. And once again, it's the same alert, exact same alert. So you can see this was a 16% move, and all of these played really nice because of the war news, but it doesn't matter because you would have taken these trades at the key contextual level on Bitcoin of resistance, right? So you executed at a nice resistance and you ended up catching a big move that was fueled by news and stuff, which, you know, would have been great. So this one here, you have, again, price making your higher high, RSI making that lower high just slightly, giving you the divergence, triggering that inside the Discord here. And this one came up and it swept the key liquidity here, SFP'd it. So that could have been your general TA trigger for you to take the trade. And you can see that this one actually played out for 16.2% off the news last night. So again, a very nice move. We have Floki here. This one, I believe, was a supply as well. Yeah, so again, nice supply. Same alert, all 3 of these coins. This one ended up dumping out for 23% from the very high, which you got the alert at. Price making that higher high, RSI making that lower high. So you can see that by making sure that you took the trade when Bitcoin was at a nice resistance, that you were able to catch like some higher probability trades using the RSI div bot. And I'm only showing you the 30-minute divergence one alert, like, right? Like, we're literally just looking at this. There were 15-minute divergences, there were hourly divergences, there were 4-hour divergences, bearish as well, that we're going to go over. You know, infinite opportunities for you guys to just look at altcoins, you know, cycle through 5 or 10 from these alerts, do your general TA however you do it, support, resistance, supply, demand, SFPs, you know, whatever it may be, and then execute. So that's kind of like a general overview of, first of all, what the actual bot is and how it alerts you, how to look to use the alerts at contextual levels that are, you know, the strong resistance or support on Bitcoin and the market overall. And then, you know, how to execute those with like just general TA, and however each individual trader looks at triggers, you know, you can tie these divergences in. So let me know if you guys have any questions up till now on what we just covered. If anything doesn't make sense, if you want me to cover something again, just let me know. And then next we'll go into the 4-hour divergences that fired off at the exact same time. We can take a look. All clear, all good, right on. Yeah, so it is pretty straightforward stuff, right? So basically, you're just going to be getting a lot of alerts from these divergence bots, and you know they are all actionable. But if you're overwhelmed by the number of alts, if you're overwhelmed by the number of alerts every 15 minutes, whatever it may be, my best take and my best advice is to just execute when the market or Bitcoin itself is at those key levels. That's going to be your highest hit rate way to play this. And so now we'll look at the H4 ones. So I believe, and again, these are just from the same alert. I believe it's this one here. So we have AAVE and XRP. So this happened at the same time on the 11th. Again, when Bitcoin was up here, that's when these alerts in this 4-hour were firing off. So let's take a look. There's a few different confluences as well in this 4-hour batch. All right, so this one in particular was a 4-hour divergence on XRP. And this was also giving you the sweep of Monday high. So you had another alert inside of the Discord. So you had the 4-hour divergence confirmed on XRP, and you had the sweep of Monday high with an SFP. That gives you a very tight trade that you could have taken, meaning that like if you were to start closing back above Monday's high and breaking this divergence here, closing above it, that would be your invalidation. And I mean, that's probably like a 0.5 to 1% invalidation. You know, you could obviously have your stops a little wider, but this one's just to show you guys that at the same time you received the 30-minute divergence, you would have also received this 4-hour one. Again, you can open up your charts, you can scroll through 5 to 10 coins, and you can look for the ones that maybe have more confluences like this, right? If you didn't like any of those 30-minute ones, well, this one gave you the Monday high sweep, right? This one gave you an additional trigger from the bots that you could have executed on. And you can see how this one played out. This gave you a 10.5% move, perfect rotation from Monday high down to Monday low, you know, tiny bit of support. And then the news came out and you got that continued move further down. So just a beautiful move there with, you know, 2 triggers from the bot. Very easy trade to execute if you were paying attention. And then we have AAVE. Again, this one gave you a trigger from the bot alongside the divergence. So AAVE was much more pumped up than many alts. DeFi was catching a really nice bid. So what you also had here, you had the 4-hour divergence on the exact same alert as XRP, right? Price making that higher high, RSI making that lower high. And at the same time, you had the OBOS alert, right? So you can see 901, 901. That's a different day, but it was overbought here. So you can see that at the same time you had the 4-hour divergence, you also had price being overbought, right? Overbought means anything above the 70 mark here. And so, you know, a 4-hour bearish or bullish divergence in overbought or oversold, you know, that's telling you that the price is, you know, it's extremely overbought or oversold if it's in the 4-hour. Like, you know, you probably have a reversal coming quite soon and probably a pretty good move off that reversal. So again, you had 2 triggers within the Discord, and yeah, you can see this one led to about a 16.7% move if you executed, you know, when the candle closed. So this is just another way that you can confluence the other bots inside the Discord. And, you know, you could have gone through WLD, you could have gone through Kaya, you could have gone through Pepe. On the 30-minute one, you had literally up to 20, 30 different coins. So, you know, when you get these alerts, all you have to do is pull them open, look, and you'll generally have, you know, at least an hour, hour and a half, unless it's just an instant reversal, which does happen. But, you know, you generally have a decent amount of time to take a look at these charts and execute them, even looking at 20 different ones and choose kind of your favorites. So, you know, when you get these alerts, just open up 5 to 10 of them, take a look at the high caps, majority if you're unsure how to play them, because the mid caps and low caps are going to be a lot more volatile. They're going to be a little trickier, but the high caps are going to respect levels. They have more volume. They respect, you know, general TA. And so they're going to be easier to execute. But, you know, just open up 5 to 10 of these, take a look, see what other confluences there are. You know, I'm only looking at these on this instance, but I guarantee you, you know, over here, it's probably in some sort of supply or it's at some sort of resistance and on and on. So if you can find 2, 3, 4 confluences for your trade, or it matches up into a level that you already have on your charts or whatever it is, you know, it makes it very easy to execute these trades. And this is the beauty of the RSI bot. You know, this, as we've gone over and you just seen with all these charts, literally tells you, it kind of hands you a little alert saying these are the bot or these are the coins where you could potentially look for a trade. Like, they have confirmed reversal patterns in play. Open up the charts, do your general TA, and you can execute these. Like, it really does hand you trades. You just have to do a little bit of work. So you're getting alerts on these all day long. I don't think people understand the value of like how powerful these actually are. So yeah, any questions on the 4-hour, the additional bot alerts that we just went over, like Monday, high sweep, the OBOS? These are triggers and bots inside the Discord that we've covered extensively and have education on. So anyone familiar with the Discord itself should really know what we're looking at here and how to trade these. But anyone who doesn't, just let me know and we can go over them. Otherwise, we'll move on to the 30-minute bullish ones. And just any general questions on divergences in general, how to execute them, how to place your stop loss, how to execute 4-hour versus 30-minute, just anything. This is a full-blown RSI divergence kind of stream here that I want to give you guys because that's what you voted on. So I want to answer all questions you guys have on that. If not, we'll go on to the 30-minute bullish ones here. Take a look at those because these actually fired off last night. And again, I'll show you how using contextual levels on Bitcoin and your indexes is actually going to give you higher hit rate when you play these. So and for those also, we'll go over this. For those in gold, I'm going to start using the gold alpha again to give you guys some write-ups that you can refer back to and stuff. But because you guys voted on the RSI bot for this stream, I did a post showing exactly this, basically explaining what I'm explaining on this. Same examples here with the charts, and this is early when they played out. So these had only gone about 4, 5, 6%. Now with the war news, these dropped a lot. But I have links to how to trade the RSI divs here. Also, we have Woods' YouTube. He explains supply, demand, support, resistance. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go here. But I'm going to start using this, give you guys more posts you can refer back to, as well as these live videos and stuff too. So, but no questions. So we'll hop into the 30-minute bullish ones. So these fired off last night, and I'll show you Bitcoin too. So the same way that we talked about firing off those bearish ones up here when Bitcoin was at a really clear resistance, these ones fired off here when Bitcoin was at a very clear support. So again, war news happened, and when things like this happen too, right? Price is going to continue to go down and probably slice through levels. That's why it's kind of nice to let it consolidate and then give you these 30-minute or 4-hour divergences, because it tells you that price is trying to hold here, and if you get, say, the 30-minute divergence, we get that sweep, right? Your RSI is telling you that even if price is going to sweep a bit lower, momentum is shifting. Buyers are here. Buyers are showing on this support level. So the 30-minute ones I'm going to go over, they happened once Bitcoin started consolidating here, which again, it's consolidating on support, gives you a higher probability of these bullish divergences playing out. So the first one here, we have SPX. So this one fired off the 30-minute bullish divergence. And just, like I'm saying, because Bitcoin was at support, this gives you a higher probability of the divergence actually playing out. And so you can see that this one actually played out for a nice move. This one gave you a 15% move. And look at the amount of time you had in here to enter this, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 2-3 hours that you had to execute this trade. And just see that, because Bitcoin never actually did sweep, right? So, in this period here, right, you can see, especially if you go on the 1 hour, and whatever you guys use for support resistance, right, it's going to be a bit different than me. You can see these hourly wicks. You can see that, price was actually holding here. Buyers were stepping in. And so you had a bit of time on this to execute this 30-minute divergence, right? You don't have to enter right away, but that's not to say that sometimes price can revert pretty quick. So in this whole period here, you could have been monitoring Bitcoin, seeing that price was respecting that support, giving you a bit of additional confluence to take the trade because, you know, it was war news and those are very hard to execute in. So also don't beat yourself up if you're not in any longs right now because, you know, it's best to just stay patient during that type of thing. But yeah, that's SPX. So that was just a bullish one that fired off last night, well, this morning. And then we also have Fartcoin. Yeah, exactly, Mello. It's like, you know, one tweet can reverse the market pretty quick. But at the same time, like, you know, I'm liking what I'm seeing in the market here. I'm liking the fact that, like, Iran is actually striking back and whatnot. And, like, you know, there is still a lot of escalation happening. But, you know, the chart, it's telling, right? Like, we're holding strong, you know. Like, this is a very nice buyback from the morning. Lots of alts made a decent move. I'm in a couple longs and sweating. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the charts do look good overall, despite the news, which is nice because it looked very grim last night. You know, we start losing these levels, heading towards that kind of range low, and things get a little iffy. But yeah, we had a nice bounce back this morning, so I am happy to see that. But yeah, if we go to the 30-minute here, Fartcoin, again, a very nice move, 15%, right? This is just one alert. And so, you know, you had Pepe, Tau, MNT, Atom, Bonk. These were all opportunities that you could have opened up the chart, done exactly what I'm showing you. You know, which ones are on support, which ones are in demand, which ones have swept some key lows, yada, yada. And from there, you could look to execute. But, you know, we're taking a look at Fartcoin here. It made the 30-minute divergence, you know, pushed up on lower time frames, made a higher high, and then put in a higher low. So again, you don't even necessarily have to execute directly at the alert. Like, if you look at the structure here, right? And if you didn't catch the Pico bottom from the alert, you can see that price made a higher high on lower time frames. You could have been looking for price to hold anywhere in here over this whatever 2-3 hour period to get involved with stops under here for a scalp, right? Like these divs and these alerts can just let you know that a potential top or bottom is here, because the 30-minute specifically is really good at marking out intraday tops and bottoms. I will say that. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to jump right in, right? You can wait for like lower time frame structure like this, where you could have executed at any point in here, seeing that price was holding with some stops under here somewhere. And, you know, whatever, even if you executed up here, you've caught over a 10% move on today's pump up. So, you know, these are indicators of a potential reversal. Now, you can execute those reversals at things like supply demand, support resistance, or you can do things like that where you wait for like some lower time frame structure, some retests, whatever you want. So let me know if you guys have any questions on those ones. But I do think that that covers pretty well, you know, how to take these alerts, how to use them at key levels in terms of Bitcoin and ETH and indexes, as well as, you know, how to like tie those in with your general TA, however you trade. Yeah, Fartcoin is the future finance. That's a fact. That is a stone cold fact. No questions though. Everyone's golden. Everyone's ripping these RSI divs. Like I said, I think that the RSI divs and the OBOS, both of those bots are like the most actionable and most powerful bots in this Discord. They really are the kind of bots where you can open up the charts at basically any point in time, go through the process of exactly what I was just telling you now, or even set alerts, say on Bitcoin at the key levels. And then when it gets there, just watch the bot alerts. And from there, you can, like, you don't have to do a whole lot of legwork. If you work a full-time job, for instance, you can execute with these bots extremely efficiently. It just takes a bit of back testing and a bit of practice, but they are extremely effective. They are time efficient, and they just give you the alerts telling you like, okay, there is a confirmed like indication of a reversal happening here. You just have to kind of take a look at what the story is telling you in terms of TA and how you want to execute that. Very powerful bots. Do you grade your trades, for example, like if you got 2 to 3x time frames? Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think in terms of like grading your trades too, it comes down to like, I'm going to have and be leaning more towards an A+ setup if I'm seeing, for instance, like if price is here on Bitcoin, like we spoke about, you have a very key contextual level where like this is a strong resistance. If we flip this, we're going much higher. We're going back to all-time highs in whatever, 115, 120. So like, this is a very strong resistance. So like when I know that price is coming into a place like this, and then I'm getting alerts telling me that, a vast majority of the coins in the market, and especially a lot of high caps, are also putting in divergences into this reversal area, that's going to give me more of an A+ setup versus if whatever price is like, for instance, say, like just for example's sake, say like it's kind of in the middle of nowhere and you're getting these divergences, right? Like it could play out, but like it's not as high of my conviction is not as high as it is up here. And then you also tie in the fact that like, for instance, on Doge, say you had a 15-minute, a 30-minute, and a 1 hour overbought alert, plus you have the divergence, right? The more confluences from the bots that you can tie in, as well as your own individual trading, the higher conviction. And you can do that super easily inside the Discord. I have a whole section in the education teaching you guys not only how you can go and back test, but how you can in real time search up any ticker and see all of the alerts that are present at the same time, right? So if you had this 30-minute divergence on Doge, you could at that same time just type in Doge into the top right search bar, and it will show you all of the bots that have an alert for it, whether that's a 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour OBOS alert, plus like a 15-minute and a 30-minute divergence alert. You stack 3, 4, 5 confluences from the bots from just one quick search, you have a much higher conviction trade. Let me know if that answers your question, Taco. Because I see you do it on Twitter all the time. You have, anywhere from 2 to 5 different bot confluences. And I'm sure you yourself have been able to see like, if you just have a 15-minute div, for instance, it's a lower time frame div, you're not going to have as much confidence as something like Doge, which we just talked about. Bitcoin's at resistance. Doge is coming into very nice resistance. It has 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different bot confluences. You're going to treat that trade differently, or at least you should for sure. Yeah, no problem, bro. You've been killing it as well. Keep it up. If anyone's not following Taco, check him out. He posts a ton of good trades that he's taking using the exact strategies we're talking about here. Stacking multiple bot confluences and stuff. Yeah, it's good to see. But yeah, any questions you guys have? So, this is a specific RSI div education here because that is what you guys voted on. But, any questions you have in general in trading as well. We always do this, whether that's emotions, execution, the different bots inside of Woodsbot, just whatever. Just let me know. Now is your time. So. Yeah, I think the thing I'm trigger happy and wanting to pull the trigger, but only like 2 to 3 bot confluences. Yeah, and I mean, right, the more you play around, and the more you try trades with 4 or 5 confluences versus 2, 3, you're going to understand kind of like the different levels of confidence. And I think like if you take one thing away from this, I think it's just the most important thing that you can do is just have your specific support resistance levels on Bitcoin, which we also have a bot inside the Discord, which will give you those in terms of like daily and H4 levels, and just look to execute when price gets there. So if you just were to take one thing away from this, it's that, when price gets to a point where it is at support or resistance on Bitcoin, the probability of your trades in terms of, adding in your bot confluences on alts or even taking it on Bitcoin and Ethereum is going to go up immensely, right? So just setting alerts, setting alerts at key points on Bitcoin and ETH, and then waiting for those to go off, and then waiting for the bot alerts to come in is going to make your guys' life so much easier, right? Because sometimes we're kind of in the middle and you're still going to be getting alerts, but it's just not as high of a hit rate as when price is at a big resistance across the market or a big support. So, and you really only need one trade a day. Having the patience to execute one trade per day even can easily hit you your daily goal. You can grow your account by 1-2% from one trade a day. Absolutely. You don't need to take 5 trades a day. You don't need to take all 10 of these bot alerts or whatever it may be, right? Like you just need to execute one solid trade per day at a key level with some confluences. And, things can be very simplified, and our bots really help you with that. Lower candles, stronger divs. Well, I mean, it's the same as anything, right? It's like your 15-minute divs are not going to be as strong as your 30-minute divs in terms of playing out or how big of a move you get. And your 30-minute divs aren't going to be as strong as your hourly. Your hourly and 4-hour, the higher the time frame, the stronger the trigger and the more likely of an increased move. So if you get a 4-hour divergence, for example, you're seeing a potential reversal on a much higher time frame than a 30-minute or a 15-minute. You could have multiple 15-minute divergences, both bullish and bearish, just to make up like, your next 2, 3, 4-hour candles. So it really depends on what kind of trader you are. Are you a scalper? Are you a swing trader? Are you looking to execute on lower time frames? Or are you looking to execute on higher time frames? And, again, inside of the education section in the Discord, I have content that discusses both of these scenarios for whatever kind of trader you are, right? So for those that aren't aware, and I feel like most of you should be aware, obviously, but like in here, we have bot strategies where I teach you, again, to trade with the RSI divs. You can always reference this stuff. So it's this one here. But I also teach you guys, right? It's like I teach you how to swing trade with Woodsbot, how to use the higher time frame levels and divs and things like that, or how to scalp, which is, the lower time frame stuff. So for those of you that haven't utilized the education or aren't aware of it, definitely make sure to go check it out. It's got everything you guys need in there, right? So, if you're trading ranging conditions, for example, you're going to be using things like 15 and 30-minute divs, most likely, depending on the range size. If you're playing trending, again, you're going to be using lower time frame divs. So there's a time and a place for each one, and there's just a different way to trade each one. But the higher the time frame, the stronger the signal, and the higher, the bigger potential move you're going to get off of that. But also the longer it's going to take to play out. Like a 4-hour div can be played out over, a week or 3 days. But a 30-minute div could be played out intraday, or a 15-minute div could be played out within 4 or 5 hours kind of thing. So, oh my God, Jet. Yeah, take care, Mello. Appreciate you coming on, bro. I know I asked in previous streams, but can you go over the number after the RSI number in the RSI OBOS? Yeah, for sure. So let's take a look here at the OBOS. So what are you saying? Can you go over the number after the RSI number? Yeah, I see what you're saying. This here, like this number? Yeah, okay. So this is just the number of candles that happened between like the first point of the div and the div confirming. So personally, I think this will track them up to 25 candles because I think that's kind of like the standard of what most people trading RSI looks at from my experience. And, everyone's different, but this is going to tell you the number of candles between that first peak and then where the div confirms. So personally, I like them a little lower. Like I don't personally like so much when they're in the 18 to 25 range, so much as like, the 8 to 15 range. Um, but again, that comes with back testing and personal preference and things like that. So that's just my preference is the lower middle area of like 7 or 8 to whatever 15 kind of middle ground there. Yeah, it's just how many candles between that first peak to when the div confirmed. That's what that number there means. Yeah, no problem, boys. Yeah, and my RSI indicator is just the standard RSI one. It's just I whatever have the colors and stuff customized. Nothing fancy. But yeah, appreciate you guys asking questions. If there are any more, just let me know. If not, we're gonna hop into the giveaway part of the stream here. Just for participating and doing like the questionnaire, you guys can win access to these bots that I'm showing you. And then first place is going to win access to the actual AI trading bot that we have. So the one you guys see all over Twitter and the one that you guys are obviously familiar with if you are in here. But yeah, I'm going to give it another 3-4 minutes here for any more questions. Anything trading related, emotions, RSI, the bots in here. Now's your time. Full moon just happened, bro. Play that out for the next 2 weeks. I mean, hopefully. I mean, the moons have like hilariously enough been pretty accurate. Yeah, it's kind of wild how often they play out. I'm not gonna lie. Like I looked at like the last like 15 and the hit rate. The hit rate of them is just like it's crazy. It's pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I don't use it for anything, but it's I mean, data's data. Like it can't argue it. All right, doesn't look like there are any more questions here, so I'm gonna hand it over to Talisman. He's gonna get you guys set up here with the giveaway and stuff. And so yeah, just follow his instructions. And if I didn't get to anything or you guys have questions later, always just tag me in gold. I'm here all day. I answer all you guys' questions, help you out however I can. So appreciate you guys coming on though. It's all yours, Talisman.
Yeah, hi everyone. Just setting up the competition because I need to do it from my phone. For some reason, the computer doesn't work out. So give me 1 minute and I'll share my screen. Okay. Let's see. Okay. You guys see my screen? Okay. Can you guys see it? Or yeah, okay, lovely.
Oh, yeah, I was muted. Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. So guys, if you can join with the pin, which is written above, you can join the competition. For those who don't know, the prizes are first place will get 3 months of platinum access, which gives you the AI bot. The second place will get 1 month of platinum access, and the third place will get 1 month of gold access, which gives you access to over 30 different bots. So you will be able to use the ones that Delio has been showing us for the last couple of weeks during the streams, and you will be able to utilize your trading with them. Yeah, I see people joining. Great. Okay, I will write the code here just in case for 3, 2, 3. If the winners already have access, we might have some cash prizes as compensation since you guys already have access. So that's a little bit encouragement for people who already have access to join also. See, we have 4 people right now. Okay. I'll give them a couple of more minutes then. Let's go. See, we have 5 people. Come on, guys. I would like to see more of you join in. Why not? It's fun. Yeah, I see new people joining. Sorry for the typing sounds. If not, we are gonna do it between 5 people. Why not? For sure. Mello, why don't you join, man? Come on.
Well, drive it.
Milo can donate his winnings.
I will bribe you. Come on. Hey, no one wants to join. Come on, guys. It's free access. Why not? Oh, yeah, we have one more person. That's great.
Make sure you hop in, guys. There's no reason not to. Win free access. You get access to our AI bots you don't have, or even free money.
Yeah, 2 more people joined. Great. Yeah, why not? You already have access, so if you get to the top 3, we might have some money prizes. I'll start very soon, guys, not to make people wait. Is anyone trying to join and having an issue? If yes, let me know. I'll try to help you out. I see some people typing. I'll see if anyone has an issue. If not, I will start it in 2
If you
minutes.
guys have any issues, just let us know in
Yeah.
the chat. Get you in there.
Yeah.
TK knows what's good.
Yeah.
Free money.
Also, the questions are pretty easy, everyone. I made it easy this time. So there's no reason for not to join. Come on. Yeah, I see one more person. Great. Alright. Okay, I'll start it in. Oh, someone left, I guess. I'm gonna start it in 1 minute. 2 people left, actually. Interesting. How can I cheat? Okay, there are 7 people. Just asking for the last time. Is anyone having an issue joining the competition? If not, I will start it right now. Let's see. Okay, I'll start it, guys. Sorry for those who couldn't make it, because it's free money and access. Come on. Okay. I started now. Each question is 10 seconds. So you will have time to answer because they're short and easy questions. And I believe there are 10 or 20 in total. I'm not sure right now. Let's see. Okay, I started. Okay, the first question. What is cryptocurrency? See, guys? Super easy. You basically need to click in one of the options. Yeah. 6 people got it right. Great. The next one. What does P2P stand for? Come on, guys. The faster you answer, the more points you get, by the way.
Pay to play, guys.
Mello, I want to see you losing so badly. Yeah, okay. Lee is on the top place. Which of the following is not one of the top 10 coin based on market cap? This is a little bit of an outdated question, so probably it changed, but okay. Great. Let's see. Oh, Taco got first place. How much do you like Woodsbot? Come on, guys. Easy question.
Unconditionally.
Unconditional love. Yeah, that's great, guys. Let's see. Okay, what's a rug pull? Come on, guys. We all had it at once. Yeah, let's see. Oh, the places have changed. Let's see. Where do you store your currencies? Is a question also. It's a tricky question. I checked this, and yes, on the internet it says blockchain. I'm not sure why. I will answer chain wallet, but yeah, it's kind of an elimination question. Who invented Bitcoin? Yeah, one person fall for the typo. I'm sorry to whoever.
BlackRock.
What does XRP stand for?
Mentally ill.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Mellow
it's
is
me.
our quote for the day.
It's a synonym.
Yeah, let's see. Which of these cryptocurrencies is the oldest? Let's go, guys. It's easy. Yeah, Dogecoin is the oldest, surprisingly. I believe it was 2014 or 15. What is Ether's connection to Ethereum? It's a little bit reading, so make sure to be fast. Only one person got it right. Let's see. Wow, Kike, you got it right, man. You're the only one who got it right. World's most actively traded crypto coin.
Is this a trick
Actually
question? It's Farcoin?
yeah. It's sometimes we need to eliminate those who know everything well. Okay, no one got any points. Last 7 questions, guys. What's a node? Okay, should be easy. Yeah, almost everyone got it right. Congratulations. SH is leading. What is a miner? Yeah, almost everyone got it right. Nice. Let's see the standings. We have Kike on the 3rd place, we have Taco for 2nd, and we have SH on the 1st place. What is the term for when a blockchain splits? Kike. Okay, what is cold storage? Yeah, Mello, I believe you will answer this. A place to hang your coat. Oh, almost everyone got it right. That's great. Let's see. Okay, last 3 questions, guys. Make sure to be fast. Everyone is so close to each other in terms of points. What's a Genesis block? Let's see. Oh, Kike got the 2nd place. What powers the Ethereum virtual machine? Yeah, the gas fees. We all love it. Kike, back to 3rd place, man. What is proof of stake? Last 2 questions. The transaction and block verification protocol. Let's see. Oh, SH lost 1st place. Come on, you can make it back. What is a DApp? See the final question. A decentralization application. The podium. In the 3rd place, we have So Scott. On the 2nd place, we have SH. And on the 1st place, we have, let's see who we have. We have Taco. Yeah, guys, congratulations to the winners. I will personally get in touch with you, except Taco. Of course, I'm joking. I will get in touch with you, also Taco. Don't worry. Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I wish we were more people. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I got disconnected for a second, I guess. Yeah, guys. It was good to have you all here for the stream and for the giveaway. Tell you, okay, thank you for sending that out. And yeah, I will get in touch with all the winners. Make sure that you put your name in the chat also, like, or a screenshot showing that you won, so that there won't be any problems. Yeah, Delio, anything you would like to add on, or?
Yeah, just appreciate you guys coming out. Appreciate you asking questions, participating, and stuff. And yeah, you know the drill. Keep running these every single week. Keep going over price action on the bots, how to improve, all of that. So yeah, just look for the next stream next Friday, and appreciate you guys coming out. Enjoy your weekend.